for me as the creator, I guess, it was very important to get off of my computer, off of my phone, and like sit with a physical pen in my hand and a physical blank page and just write. Because I had been kind of in a creative, like in a writer's block for a while, where it was like I had a job, I was kind of just like working that, going through the motions. You know, I had a screenwriting degree on the back burner, like, and it just didn't feel like I was really expressing creativity. It's one thing to see your friends like really hitting rock bottom. And I've seen that. It's terrible. It's really tough. But there is another level of despair that you sometimes feel just seeing friends kind of coast with their 9 to 5, and you can tell that they're kind of losing their fire, and it's like to try to rekindle that at all is just really cool.
Welcome to the Best Authentic Self podcast. This is Chase Arrington. I'm here with Sean Finegan. He creates these sketches and invites all of his friends to the park and just gives them sketchbooks. And I just thought that was really cool. And he invited me. So I thought it was even more cool because I got to go and actually experience it. I like that he's using art and creativity to kind of inspire people by bringing them together too.
So I grew up in Sacramento, went to high school there. And I had lived in Pennsylvania and Chicago before that, just moving around as a kid. And after high school, I knew I kind of wanted to get out, go back to the East Coast, went to Boston University, studied film. And then after graduating, kind of knew LA was where people go for film. So yeah, ended up out here, was working at a comedy club for a couple of years. My buddy got me introduced to the company I'm with now, where I do some like video production work. And once I had kind of got the steady job and just kind of got comfortable in LA, I started, the sketch project, which felt very it felt a lot more doable, I'll say, than like for example, screenwriting, which is what I kind of focused on in college.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it just screenwriting, which I love.
Because you're also a philosophy major, right?
Yes. Yeah. Film and philosophy.
Film philosophy.
Yeah.
Which is a cool combination.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Doesn't seem like the type of degree that's going to, necessarily get a job right out of college, but kind of figured it out. And,
you can invent your own job if you study philosophy.
Yeah. Right.
If you study philosophy, you're like, I'm an idea guy.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like, I feel like you gotta be. Like,
yeah, and I've always liked writing, but like I was kind of saying is screenwriting just feels like it's such a journey from the beginning, actual writing to like the final product, which in theory would be a film or a TV show or whatever. There's just so many people involved in that process, so much. Whereas with the sketching, I really just did it all with a pen, a sketchbook, and then eventually a scanner and, a print shop, a digital print shop. So it's like, just did it, started handing it to friends, and yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And I mean, that's what I think is really amazing about it, to be honest. Like there's just I think there's a side in everyone that kind of wishes that they could do what you were doing right now a little bit, where you're just kind of had an idea and you just did it and you just saw it through. Like most people just don't, a lot of folks don't do that. A lot of people don't see an idea through. They don't get an idea and then actually do something with it. It's like, oh, I want to be a writer. And then their aspirations are so huge. They end up, there's like that line, that line in Star Wars where they're talking about, like, don't choke on your own choke on your aspirations or something like that. You remember that line?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like talking to the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really bad at the Star Wars. Star Wars people are gonna kill me right now. But yeah, he's like, don't choke on your aspirations, and that's like so true.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy to put like a huge goal in front of you where it's like that's impossible.
Yeah.
But what you did is you're like, no, I'm gonna be consistent with something small and just kind of build off of that. So this last weekend was your sketchbook release.
Yeah.
For which number?
So this was number 7.
Yeah.
Sketchbook number 7. It was
sick.
the third party. Yeah. So
one.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
The first one I printed and had a event for was number 5. And then just because the first 1 through 4 I haven't done solo prints for yet, they're a little bit shorter, and they'll eventually go into a full compilation project, I think. So still waiting on it. Yeah.
Got it.
But there is 1 through 4.
But you did 1 through 4.
They exist.
But
nobody's seen them.
No one has them in their hands?
They've never been printed.
Really?
They're just digital.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You should do like a limit, like once you get to like volume, I don't know, man.
Yeah, well, hey,
you probably got some game. What's the end game?
I have it all.
Is there an end game there? You're not gonna show that.
I mean, I don't mind.
That's closed up.
If you want to hear, like, I mean, there's
what I mean, like, what would you like to happen? Yeah.
Yeah. So, sketchbook number 8 is done physically, like I've penned it. I still need to scan it and digitize it, basically just, compiling it, organizing it. And then that will be the final like solo sketchbook for this project. And I'm basically going to take sketchbooks 1 through 8, put them just back to back into one like big
like a big thing
kind of book. Yeah. And start, probably selling online, something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not like ending it, it's not over. Like I'm already plotting number 9.
I think this is kind of like what you're trying to say right here. Is it?
Yeah, right.
Things won't always come easily.
You like that?
I like puns.
Yeah, there's a mix. Some puns.
There's some puns in there, and then there's some that are like I don't know. I can't stay mad at me, but she likes to try. Like, I liked the Kaizen part. That was fun. That's like the shout out to Trader Joe's there. Like, that's their whole like mantra.
Is that right?
Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah, they like
that's awesome.
That's part of their employee training.
Really?
It's like, yeah, they teach all their employees like.
Man, no wonder I like Trader Joe's.
Yeah, it's like continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting off track.
No, that's cool.
But it's true, right? Like if you just make like if you just make like one, like if you just do one thing better every day, then all of a sudden you look back. Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the things that I really look forward to with the project of like printing 1 through 8 as one is I think that you will see growth from sketchbook 1 where it's like really just kind of raw, like a lot of it's more like writing or just really scribbly kind of sketches to 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8 kind of where it's a little bit more refined. I'm still not,
Have you looked back at the older ones?
Oh yeah.
Like when you look back, they're like, sometimes like I feel that way with some things like songwriting or whenever I'm starting something new. Yeah. Like when I start a new project, like when I get down the road, I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember why I did this. Like what is there like an element, like what is the reasoning for even starting these in the first place? And like in those initial sketches, like what was your thought process? Like,
yeah, it was really only a little over a year ago that I started even like sketchbook number 1. And it was at the beginning, it was just like, for me, it was just kind of like almost a journal, just journaling with, like I said, a little bit of a sketch element, some poetry elements, some, and some just written, just short form writing or whatever, kind of yelling into a blank page. But, right. But
yelling into a blank page.
Yeah.
That's like the sketching.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it. And but there's but you've made room though. Like you make room, like the sketches is one sketch per page.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. So yelling into a blank page. What's the philosophy behind yelling into a blank page? And what's the philosophy of having one sketch with a lot of space? Like, where does philosophy come into this? Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, you study film,
Yeah.
and you study philosophy,
Yeah.
and you're a deep thinker, because like the sketches aren't just like doodles. Like, they're not just doodles. That's why I'm trying to like make sure that people know, because like people who are listening, they're like not even looking. They're like, sketchbook. Let's turn this thing off. But I want you to learn something. Like he's not just doodling something on a page and then like saying, hey, this is a sketch. It's actually like there's some of them are just really goofy, right? Like some of them are like super like just like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. But there are some that are actually like really deep. Like you're actually talking about something. There's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
In every single one.
Yeah, I mean, I like having those conversations with people. So if I can use this as a catalyst for those conversations in the real world, and it's kind of like you said, like I'm doing it with friends, I'm giving it to people that I know personally, and and then a lot of people enjoy talking about it. Or one of my favorite experiences is from showing people my work is they start opening up about their creative side, and that like really, it's just like fuels the whole system. People get connected. I mean, like I had two friends this has happened several times now, but it's like having friends that meet each other and then collaborate on a music project
That's cool.
And it's like to be even somewhat involved in that feels so good.
Yeah. I mean, I think I even met somebody who said they wanted to be on our show, on this show.
Yeah.
So it's like, and like bringing people together, it's like you're not going to go wrong there, but like you're sharing something though. It's not like it's just, we're all going to hang out and play volleyball. There's actually a quiet I don't know, dude. I don't think you know how real. I don't think you know how like how unique it is. I don't know. I don't think you realize it, man. Like I think it's a really unique thing. I think people are craving purposed silence. Purposed silence. Yeah. Like they're craving that. I think a lot of people are craving, like in a world where we're all talking, we're hearing, we're listening, we're watching. It's like there's something kind of cool about sitting in a park and seeing a lot of people just kind of be quiet and all read a little sketchbook that their friend gave them. Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. It's really heartwarming. It's a good story.
Thank you. Yeah, I was really drawn to the idea of sharing. So origin story, my buddy came over, he does music. Yeah. And he said something that I was like, this is what you just said is in one of my sketchbooks, right? Right. And at the time I hadn't shown anybody. I had already done 3.5 sketchbooks. Never scanned them, never did anything digital, just literally taking blank sketchbooks, filling them out, ripping out pages when I mess up. I only do black pen. And he said, so I showed him, he said something that was in the sketchbook number 1, actually. So I showed him sketchbook number 1 and I showed him that specific page. Right. But he started turning pages. He was like, bro, I didn't even know that you did this. Like, this is awesome. And I was like, yeah, like I got a couple more if you're, if you like it. And he's like, of course, like, let me see. So I showed him number 2, I showed him number 3, and he's just flying through it going like, dude, you got to share these with people. And he, at first it was kind of like, why don't you like post these on Instagram? And I was like, very hesitant. So now I've like started to to post every once in a while on Insta, just like a sketch or two. But I really liked, even sharing with him, I really liked seeing him physically like flipping pages and like going through it one after another. And it was also very important, like for me as the creator, I guess, it was very important to get off of my computer, off of my phone, and like sit with a physical pen in my hand and a physical blank page and just write. Right. Cause I had been kind of in a creative, like in a writer's block for a while, where it was like, I had a job. I was kind of just like working that, going through the motions. I had a screenwriting degree on the back burner, like, and it just didn't feel like I was really expressing creativity.
You felt bottled up.
Yeah.
And you needed an outlet.
And so those first like few sketchbooks I just flew through them.
And you were just doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like it was just something you were just doing for fun, and then you like had somebody else, a friend of yours, like actually tell you, like say, hey, you need to share this. Like this is the time. And like I feel like that's such a marker of like an authentic creation. Yeah. Is that like usually before something actually gets birthed, usually there's a relationship. Right? Like in marriage, you have a relationship before there's a birth. So like when you're birthing, whenever a concept is birthed, it's usually birthed from relationship rather than doing things solo. And, you know, I think like a message that I'm hearing, like an overtone that I sort of like have wanted to like, you know, even talk to you about with this episode is really to focus on relationships. Cause I think that's the strength that you found, is that creation really does happen in collaboration. It really does happen in relationships. And so like, what are the things that keep us from creating? Cause you started it on your own, right? Like you created something on your own, but the idea of the whole friends thing was a collaboration. Like people coming into this world was a collaboration. Yeah. So like, I don't know, how do you keep things pure? Like how do you keep things authentic and then include other people? Like, I think like that's the thing. Cause like usually people either they forsake authenticity to try to get people's attention. Yeah. Or or like, so yeah. How do you, what was the question I asked? That was a good question. What was the words I said? It was like, how do
you keep authenticity while sharing?
No. Yeah. How do you keep authenticity, like true, like authenticity with people involved? Like, because I think that when you get people involved in something, everyone has an opinion, they have a thought, they want to tell you this. Hey, I mean, like I can't imagine how many people you've said, hey, you should do this, you do this. How do you stay authentic? Like, how do you stay authentic to what you're doing, as opposed to like just taking everyone's ideas and then all of a sudden it becomes this garbly goop, you know? Yeah. Because it's a really bare idea right now. So it's like you've preserved it for a few sketchbooks, like at least, like for seven sketchbooks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, when I'm actually sitting down with pen and paper, like, I'm just by myself, and so there isn't, you know, I take concepts that I've, you know, been inspired by others or communicated with others or heard others communicate, and, you know, take inspiration from music, film, whatever. But yeah, like I said, like when I'm actually sitting down at the page, it's just me and the paper, and I think I got far enough along with it before I even shared anything, that like it doesn't, yeah, I don't know. I don't have, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this.
Like you got far along, you got far along with it before.
Yeah. Well, I think the only thing, like the first thing that came to mind as you were asking the question is like the idea of sharing things that are kind of like vulnerable and stuff. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's like if you're not going to share that through your art, then what are you going to share? You know, if you're not willing to be a little bit vulnerable in that, then it's not, you know, what's the point? But I also think like I grew up just like playing sports with the boys, and it's like I'm used to kind of people like badgering or like, you know, messing, you know, talking shit with the boys kind of thing. So it's like I'm not afraid of you know, I can take a little teasing or whatever. It's like, you know, after some of the, you know, some people will be like, dude, hey, are you all right? Like this is super dark, and it's like I appreciate that concern if it's genuine, but it's also like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I don't know.
So you're tough skinned is what you're saying.
Tough skinned.
Yeah. Tough skinned.
Yeah. That's and good. Also I just think like you have to talk about the lows in order to understand the highs and kind of the in between, I think.
What do you like specifically? What do you mean by that? Like you need to go through the dark places?
Yeah. I think, I mean, what
like
do you,
it's okay for it's okay for a page of your life.
Yeah.
Just like in the sketchbook, it's okay for a page of your life to look really bleak. Yeah. And to look really dark. And to be the wrong turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like because there's going to be pages of your life where it's like, eesh.
Yeah, and I think it's important, like for the people I'm sharing this stuff with, I think it's important to see that, you know, we do go through tough stuff, but we can make it out and use it for creativity and whatnot.
Can you think of one sketch can you think of a sketch that has stuck with you the most over this, like because you did a lot of sketches. I don't know if you counted, but like what sketch is kind of imprinted in your brain that you're like, maybe you're the one who likes it, but you like it for a certain reason that, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a great question. I like, there's a couple in number 5 that I really like that kind of are the same concept. One of them is a candlestick with a burning candle getting rained on, but it's still lit. And I think, and then the other one is kind of a flower growing out of the cracks in the concrete. Which both, I think, you know, I'm sure both of those concepts have been expressed before, but I like, they're very, you know, they're just simple sketches, but I think it kind of encapsulates the essence of the whole project, where it's like you can turn some negative experiences or some tough times into a positive.
So, but what does it mean to you? Because I know it's like you can have a hard time in turning the positive, but what does that mean to you? I mean, I can tell you what that means to me.
Yeah, please.
Because I can see that. I don't know that I've seen the exact one or not.
Yeah.
But that idea of like the flower through the cracks, or like the light of a candle being rained on. Yeah. You know, but still lit. It's like man. I guess it's sort of like, it's this element of resilience. Yeah. And like for the way I hear it, it's just like, I'm resilient. Yeah. Like I value resilience. Like I value people who don't give up. Like I value people who could be in the rain, but their light still shines. Like I value people who, when their life is like, and when they're in an earthquake, flowers grow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like no matter what shakes you, like I'm gonna have my peace. I'm still gonna love beautiful things. I'm still gonna shine bright. Like that's what it means to me. Yeah, you know. Yeah, and like, and for me, like when you say that's your favorite one, it's like I that to me like makes a lot of sense as to who you are, just as a man, you know, and who you want to be as a man is like. I'm not gonna be a stoic dude completely. No. Like I can stand in the rain. Yeah. I can be in the cracks. Yeah. But I can still grow flowers. I can still be a light, you know?
Yeah, I pretty actively.
Have you ever thought of it like that?
No, I love that. Yeah. I think I pretty actively reject stoicism. I think that's like, I think a lot of I think that is a common philosophy in our culture right now. It's actively. Like, oh yeah, like I disagree with that philosophy of life.
You actively
with stoicism. Yeah, with stoicism. I don't think
stoicism is just being.
I think it's like a lot of
for people who know it. Like, how do you define stoicism?
So I think like the you know, it's been a while since I took philosophy courses, but I think the way stoicism reflects itself or expresses itself in today's culture is like this idea of kind of mind over matter, where it's like you can just kind of let everything else go by you and like just exist. And like you can, you know, you don't have, like something bad happens to you, it's your mindset. You don't have to be upset. Something good happens to you, you know, you can kind of, and you just kind of stay even keel. I don't really agree with that. Like, I think it's okay to take, you know,
to feel. Yeah,
absolutely. And to just like really understand the bad time, you know, the things that hurt and the things that are good and happy and creation. Like,
Wow.
you know, I don't know that a lot of the, yeah.
I think there's probably somebody listening who this is connecting with for sure. Cause it's, you know, you hear that a lot. You hear people say you have to be strong, you have to stay strong. And sometimes you have to stay strong because, you know, you compare your problems with everyone else. I mean, I'm thinking of somebody who's maybe in a tough situation financially, or like, you know, with work, or, you know, trying to be strong right now, but they don't feel it. You know, it's like that they're not strong. There's a weakness there, and it's like, how do you push through that that threshold where you're not being stoic, but you're still moving forward? Because I think what would be the opposite of stoicism? Because you'd probably be against that too, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you
the opposite of stoicism would probably be like overreacting, emotionally attaching yourself to too much of the world.
Got it. Okay.
Like where every bad news article just ruins your day.
Right.
Which
it's like sort of like a balance. Like that's why definitely. That's like I have like, so this whole podcast, right, is like best authentic self.
Yeah.
So I want people to be the best authentic self. How do you do that? You search for truth. You try to find deeper meaning. You like to become your best. Yeah. But at the same time, if you know, authenticity and best, it's like, do they mean the same thing? I don't know that they do. And when I started telling people that, like, hey, I think that I figured out what my thing is like, I was authentic. I just want people to be and operate at their best, be the best authentic self. Yeah. It just feels right to me. And so you're talking about, like, you're against stoicism and all stuff. Let's try to, I want to try to understand that from the being authentic, like being authentic and then being your best. How do those two things coincide in life? Like, how do you see people being authentic and then being their best, and how can you be the best authentic version of yourself? What does that actually look like? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's such a tough question. I think
drop.
It's right.
We're
it's
done,
like, that's like everybody's
life over.
Yeah. But I really think that's everybody's purpose, is like to find that calling from, you know, to find what is authentic. What, like, for me, I don't find, like, I enjoy doing the sketches, right? Yeah. So like that time, that's like time alone, just me and God, I guess, kind of working through ideas and that I don't, so it doesn't feel like work. It feels just like great. What feels like work is like scanning them, printing them, like planning a party. Okay. But then, like, you know, I love getting everybody together, and like, but yeah, me just with a notepad, like, that usually doesn't feel like work. Obviously sometimes you run into, you know, I can't get what I have in my head on the page, and that's frustrating, but really I just enjoy doing that. And I think that's kind of like a cliche, is like, do what you love and you won't work or whatever. It's like, there's always going to be, you know, some logistics or some,
you have to, like,
obstacles.
It's kind of a farce.
But I really like the your authentic best self concept. I think that they do walk hand in hand. I don't think, but they're different. Sure, they're extremely different, because you can be authentic is one thing, but to be your best is different. Like, your best, like, to be the best. Because think about it, like, to be the best, or to be your best, if you're not considering how you're being authentic, right? I don't know. That's how I think of it. Like, I just don't. I mean, best. I see. It depends. It's like, it's all about your perspective on best. Like, I don't think I'm the best artist or drawer, like illustrator or poet or any of that. You know, I don't, or writer. I don't think I'm the best, because you can be your best writer self. Right. But that's, to me, I don't think that's enough.
I think because for me, let me just put it this way. My background, like I started out writing music. Okay, when I was 8. Right, I was drawing. I was doing. I mean, I was like creative from the get go. Like, I mean, I grew up kind of like my whole world. I was a very sad child growing like up until about 12 or 13 because I really didn't fit in with the status quo. I was creative. I just had thought differently about everything. Yeah, you know, and so it was like, and it was hard to be me. It was hard to be authentic.
Yeah.
Like it was hard to fully be me without thinking that was wrong.
Right.
But I was still being my best in a lot of areas. Like I was still doing my best, but I was having trouble being like I guess honestly just real with people
around you.
I guess I've always been somewhat authentic, but I mean, I'm just saying like I had trouble being authentic to who I am, like to be really to really be really myself and like let that stand on its own, like let that be strong enough for itself.
In what specific, any kind of specific, like what was there, were you hiding something specific or like kind of,
I think
you know what I mean? Like,
I think that I grew up, going to school where, I went to kind of a preparatory school. So it was like more academia and I did fine. Like I did my best there, but it was just really academic and there wasn't a lot of music. There wasn't a lot of art. Right. So then I went to art school and at the art school it was like, there's a bunch of different voices. Like everyone has a different sound and they all, this person sounds good and this person sounds good. You don't really know what makes somebody, everyone's talking about how it's so subjective, art's so subjective. Yeah. And so like the temptation is always when it's art, the temptation is just to go quiet. Yeah. Which is not authentic. Like for me, I wanted to go quiet because I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to compete with that person. I don't know how I'm going to compete with this person. What makes me different? I don't even know. I don't even want to try, because I'm kind of nervous to even really show my voice or to sing or to play in this thing. I just, I was nervous. Yeah. And it took me a while to just get to a place to where I was like, and fortunately teachers or mentors, people just in life, but it's like after a while you go, yeah, I can be myself. And that can have flaws in it. Like that can actually have, like it can actually not be perfect. Like it can be an imperfect performance, but it could be me. Yeah. And in that, I think it connects more with people, Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'd consider myself lucky. Like I've never since I didn't start sketching until several years after graduating. Right. I've never been graded on it. Like I didn't do it for a teacher. I don't like, I mean, and like I liked film school and it taught me a lot, but I didn't, I think with music, it's like another thing where it's so, like how would some of our favorite artists have done? And a lot of them didn't go to film school. How would their teachers, like what would their teachers have thought about, I don't know.
Yeah. That's another thing too. It's like you have teachers, some teachers are good, some teachers are not good. Yeah. I think good teachers do try to help people become more of who they're supposed to be, So there's actually a famous, the verse in the Bible where it says like, train your child in the way that they should go. A lot of people interpret that as in like,
you decide
the way that they need to go. Yeah. Like it's up to you, parent. Yeah. No, it's the way that child needs to go. Right. You're supposed to raise that child in the way that child needs to go. Yeah. So that they don't deviate from the path. And so, it's like, a lot of misinterpretations of that can cause problems with people.
I think kids have incredible intuition. And I think like they're connected to God without even, they don't need to read the Bible they don't need to go to Sunday school to just be naturally like in line with God in a lot of ways. And
they don't have memories.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they don't have,
Like you don't have memory. There's like a point where like, I don't remember. Yeah. Where I came, like, I mean, there's just this, I mean, when you get older,
you're just kind of living in the moment.
Look back to your psych class or your, or your.
Well, and you start putting like labels on yourself. I'm a writer. Right. alcoholic. I'm a this, I'm a that, like whatever it may
Right.
be. It's like you start getting into these cycles of like,
Right.
of what society tells you are, or like, or even, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into like kind of identity politics, so to speak, but it's like those type of things kind of form us in this way where it's like, is that really how, like, we're all just humans. We all have our individual calling. And like the fact that I'm a little bit, that I'm like part Irish, part Italian, like doesn't really, it might shape some of my food preferences or something. I don't know, but it's like, it doesn't tell me what, what art I can make or like who I can like be friends with. It's just and I think
you're very conflicted between beer and wine. That's pretty much
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. It's like I have a bunch of olive and grape trees and yeah. I don't know. I think but I think my point with the getting away from the despair is it's like we can't let our teachers, as great as some of them may be, kind of like define what we can and can't do. And I think also it's like when you go through certain like school, like for me, for film school, it's like they kind of laid out this path. But if I had gotten discouraged by the fact that everything didn't happen exactly how like one of my teachers said it could happen or that it did happen for them, I wouldn't be doing anything. Cause like everybody's path is different. Everybody's going to have a different experience. Everybody's art's going to be different. And you just gotta, take it one day at a time. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's very different. That's actually that's a tough one for me sometimes. I just see commonalities. I see connections. I see like similarities. I have trouble sometimes really seeing the differences. Like seeing them, I think some people, and I'm not saying I can't see the differences of people. I can see what's special about people. I can see what's great about people.
Yeah.
Like I have trouble sometimes like really seeing like seeing people. I see like a group, I see connection, or I see like sort of like how I'm probably interpreting the sketchbook thing a little differently than maybe other people might see that whole experience. But it's like, I just see it like that. That's something I've learned about myself. I took like a strengths finder test, and it was like the lowest I scored in was like individualization, which was like I have a harder time like knowing how each person really can work together. Like I don't have a good understanding of that. So like when it comes to like hiring and like bringing people in and stuff, I just don't touch that at all because I don't fully understand it. I just assume everyone's going to be like all good, like, so let's switch gears a little bit into something else real quick. What are you most like, what's your biggest dream right now? Like what is the dream that you have right now? If in 6 months or a year, that you would like to be, or maybe even 10 years, I don't know. But I know you talked about like kids and stuff. You wanted to be like married and stuff and having your whole family, like you've got your whole life planned out like that. But like, what's your big dream? Like, what do you care most about?
I mean, I think you already said it, like, right? It's like, I think like, so I would love to be able to do, like pay the bills off of creative work, but which is, part of the dream, I think, but really like, having a family and just kind of doing it, different. I mean, so my parents are great. I respect them to the utmost, but they didn't raise, us. Let's backtrack there for a second.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Let's not talk. Yeah, we're not going to talk crap about your family.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to put. I just know.
Let's honor them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just think I would.
Is this one rolling still?
Yeah, I hit that one already.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't. How do I say? It's not that I want to give my kids a different life than what I had, not because of anything that is, my parents' fault or whatever. Yeah.
Here's what you're looking for. You're looking for generations. Like each generation should get better.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's okay for that. So just off of that mindset, just go say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Like each generation can become more blessed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I really want to just continue growing and kind of healing from the past. Yeah.
So so like on the basis that all of our parents are flawed,
right.
What are some things that you would do, not better, but what would you do differently than how you were raised?
Yeah.
Like when you're like starting a family.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to, I already see in my family that there was stuff in the past that my grandparents lived a way more just like difficult life. Their parents even more difficult than that. And it's getting better in the sense, not just in the sense of like material possessions or comfort, but like kind of like love and family and community and just really caring for each other, how I think marriage and a family should. And yeah, I think continuing in that process of just building stronger families, like we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but I think like there's something in my Catholic blood that just wants to have like 8 kids, but that God willing, it's like, I don't know what the future holds. And 8 kids, anytime you tell 8 or more,
that's
I don't
not
know.
like, that's just a little shy of a dozen, dude.
Well, I was saying,
why don't you just go for 12,
if I aim for a dozen and then maybe, a couple of twins pop out, call it a baker's dozen. But
oh my gosh.
Anytime you tell people that, it's like, well, that's so expensive. It's like, unless you have them working on a farm and taking care of each other.
Because by the time the oldest is 18,
it's a cycle.
Hey, you're at work. I mean, you're working at 14, 13.
Yeah. Like, then the older ones start raising the younger ones.
Just pray for an entrepreneur within the first, pray for a good entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur. It's all
they don't have a choice.
That's right. Like, you have to make money.
If there's 8 to 12 of them, then they're probably not getting a college.
You're gonna be a good dad, man.
Fund.
You're gonna be a good dad. I
can tell. They're going to trade school, or they're like, they're getting a scholarship.
They're not gonna go away with anything.
Yeah,
you're gonna have them by your hand. You're gonna have their heart and you're gonna have their hand, and you're not gonna take any excuses.
Yeah,
that's gonna be sick.
All right, next question.
Well, next question is who's how hard is it? What are the odds of finding somebody to get on board with this?
With this plan, with the 8 kids plan?
With the 8 kids.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, hey.
Ladies.
God willing, like I said, it's in God's hands.
I'm gonna start the best authentic self dating app.
Right, eight, the minimum.
All right. So no, I'm just kidding. All right. So no, next is just if you could summarize the sketchbooks, like if someone wanted to even follow the sketchbooks, is that even possible? Like, can you follow it somehow?
Follow me on Insta for now. Okay. Yeah, I'm building out my website, so plug that later. Probably just Sean.
Do you have a domain for it?
Yeah, it's just Sean M. Finnegan. Sean SEAN. Okay. M as in Michael Finnegan.
SeanMFinnegan.com.
Yeah, all right, that's my name.
So go to Sean M. Finnegan, and you're probably gonna get redirected until Sean actually
there'll be nothing there for a little while.
Has this up. That's cool.
Yeah, but it's coming. It's all one step at a time. Like I said, like all the logistics and like selling and digital element is like not. It's not necessarily what excites me. I know it's the next step, but I just haven't got there yet. One of my favorite parts of this process has been, and by this process I mean sharing my work with other people, is that they then feel comfortable sharing their work that maybe they haven't shared publicly. And, everybody gets excited by their own creativity. Right. Everybody gets excited by creativity. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just a fact. And whether it's, you know, a really good show that they just watched or a painting that they just did, like I've gotten several times after these events, people texting me pictures of a painting that they drew or that they painted or a sketch that they drew, and like just start to open up on that front, and or even people asking to like collaborate on stuff, and like it's like that is so cool. I love seeing like
That's
the
sick.
biggest compliment that I have gotten is like that I inspired someone else to be creative, because that like me seeing other people be creative that I care about is just amazing. Like it's one thing to see your friends like really hitting rock bottom. And I've seen that. It's terrible. It's really tough. But there is another level of kind of despair that you sometimes feel just seeing friends kind of coast with their 9 to 5, and you can tell that they're kind of losing their fire, and it's like to try to rekindle that at all is just really cool.
That's that candle in the rain.
Candle in the rain, man. Yeah.
That's that candle in the rain. Yeah. So what would you say to our listening audience? If let's just like say they're your friend, you know?
Yeah.
Say if one of your friends is watching, like, and they really, we caught them at a time when maybe they are kind of thinking meditative, like thinking kind of deeply, like they're like, ah, man, like, you know, what the heck do I do with my life?
Yeah.
You know, what's my next step? And what kind of advice would you give to somebody who just wanted to do something as simple as like just take some of their art or their creative work and just share it with their friends? You know?
Even to people that haven't started doing like it's just start with something and start for yourself before even thinking about who you're going to share it with or how it's going to be perceived by anyone else. Like, yeah, really just in your own room. Like what, if you could, you know, cause there's value to seeing somebody doing something at the highest level. Like when I was working at the comedy clubs, it's like, I would see some of the best doing comedy, and it's like, oh man, I want to be that guy touring the world, making people laugh like that.
Yeah.
Obviously that sounds great, but there's so many steps before in that person's life that you didn't see because you weren't grinding open mics. You weren't writing jokes every day, you know, reading the newspaper to get ideas for material. Like there's so many steps before you are making money or making people laugh worldwide. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think even Ellen had like the worst time. Right. I mean, there was like I watched her stand-up special. Yeah. It was like, there's like 3 years she had no work. And all of a sudden, Andrew Stanton calls her out of the blue, asking her to be the voice of Dory in Finding Nemo. Yep. And all of a sudden, it's like all works up for her, you know. Yeah. I mean, you know, and I guess it's a rare excuse, but the thing is, she had laid some ground foundation, and we don't even know her for her stand up anymore. Yeah. We know her for her show, so it's like, and a lot of the celebrities that we've heard of in the past, we don't even know who they are. Like
we don't know how they started.
When was the last time you thought about Audrey Hepburn? We all love Audrey Hepburn, but when was the last time you thought about Audrey Hepburn in your day-to-day life? You know what I'm saying? Like she's a legend, but I'm just saying like there's these people who
well, you only see
you're not gonna make such an impact on people in life greater than the one that you can make for yourself in that room that you're talking about. I think is what I'm trying to say, you know?
Yeah, and like even it's like when you go to the grocery store, like you're just buying these fruits that are already grown and shipped and packaged or whatever. It's like you're not seeing the seed and the watering and the fertilizing and the growth and the sunlight. There's all these things, the inspiration and hustle that goes before it hit. Like I said, I had 3.5 books before anybody even saw them. And now it's like, I feel now I have at least enough kind of content where it's like, I'm willing to like share with people. I know that there's like, I have a little bit in the bank, so to speak. Right. Where it's not just like after I did my first event, it was like, that was for sketchbook number 5. I already knew 6 was coming. 7 was, being prepared. when I did 6, 7 was already, like,
Right.
so I kind of like right now 8 I haven't scanned it or printed it yet, but it's done, and 9 is already in the hopper. Like, so it's kind of like, and I have the few like 1 through 4 that I haven't released. So it's like, it's just like there's stuff, and it's same with stand up. It's like comedy, right? It's like,
do you do stand up too?
I'm just a huge fan. I've done open mics and stuff, but I can't say I'm a stand up, but I think that would offend a lot of my comedy friends.
Well, I'm such a comedian. I'm the life of the party.
Cut that out. No.
That was pretty bad.
I liked it. Life of the potty. Yeah. So I don't know. There's just a lot that there's a lot that goes in, and you see some people that it's like, if they haven't kind of put in the work, that it happens in music, it happens in comedy, where it's like, if you really haven't put in the work, then you might have one good kind of flash in the pan, but
right.
It's just an everyday, it's an
what
everyday
what got you to Sketchbook? What was it that just
start?
got you? Yeah, just even beginning.
Oh man,
what got you there?
It was definitely feeling that kind of like lack of creative expression. Like, I was just doing my 9 to 5 kind of thing, wasn't being creative.
Can you expound on that emotion at all?
Oh man,
like what did that actually like? Go back to a place when you're like, oh man, like I just hate it. Like, what was that feeling? I
really think yelling into a blank page is like the perfect description of how it started, where it's just like you want somebody you just want to yell, right? Because you're just like
scream, like anger, scream.
Yeah, because
are you angry? Like what?
Yeah,
what's the emotion there?
I'm trying to think, because it's not necessarily like it's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it just feels like almost, maybe your potty joke has influenced this, but it's like almost a constipation, or it's like you're bottled up. And I think everybody has this urge to create. I think like
you needed to clear the tube.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's like almost a really disgusting way to say it, but
yeah.
Like there's blockage.
There's blockage.
And you're like, in order for me to get this out, like I need to just like clear the tube, But
I really truly believe everybody is everybody has a God-given purpose, and I think somewhere in that purpose for everybody is this idea of creation, because that is what God is, the creator, right? And we're kind of in his image, in the sense that I don't want to get too theological here,
no,
but
it's like, it's authentic. You can be yourself here.
It's like, no, I just really believe like we're made to create, and it doesn't mean art as society calls art, or as whatever art is, but it's like, for some people it's just raising a family, for some people it's creating a business that helps get people products that they need, or food, or growing, farmers are creators in a sense, or everything, right? It's like we just have this desire to like be productive, and I think a lot of a lot of people struggle with depression and anxiety, and I've kind of been through similar journey. And I think a lot of that happens from not following our calling, not following our purpose, and not being productive and creative. It's like nobody wants to just.
But is it just the purpose? Because because it's not like our purpose. Sometimes I feel like can be strung out over our whole life.
Yeah.
But we can have multiple purposes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's a purpose right now. Like there's a purpose for today. There's a purpose for this moment. Like there's purpose for there's always a purpose within just your day. But it's because I think people people spend more than a week on trying to find your purpose. You're still missing it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like however long you go trying to find your purpose, you're actually going to end up running away from it. So it's not just purpose. Like,
yeah,
because I'm just trying to think from the audience's perspective, like from people who are listening in, like it's really easy to give the blanket terms, but like I feel like that's not really what you're saying. Like what you're saying is like it's much deeper. It's like for me, because I think what I've listened to a lot of like uplifting podcasts and shows and stuff like that, and what I think I want to do a little differently is I just want to make sure that we're not pumping people up with a bunch of too much fluff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's really easy to say it because it's like, I don't really want to go there, but it's like when you talk about that feeling, that's what I was trying to say. Like, what is that feeling that you felt?
Yeah.
And how has that changed to here? Not looking at the material side, because there's a lot of things that you had to do, there's steps you had to take, but that's not really your takeaway. Like, oftentimes, like whenever I'd be listening to something, I always listen to what I hear, which is like, oh man, that person's successful. They're like on a show, or they're on a podcast, or they're doing, or you know, they got featured in that one thing. Man, I really wish that someone noticed me, right?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? You know, like where does that's how I react to stuff like that. Maybe you don't have that same feeling, but
I think
like we always want to do something great, you know?
Yeah, I think it's. When we see somebody that's already, you know, famous or successful or whatever it may be, they've already kind of established this identity as, oh, that person's a musician, so his purpose is music, creating music, or this person's a comedian, so his purpose is making people laugh.
So you're saying that moment has already happened to them a long time ago. You're just seeing the fruit of it.
You're seeing the fruit of it.
Like you're seeing the fruit of something that like someone did. When you see something break for somebody, that's not when it started. It started when it started at Sketchbook 1. It started before Sketchbook 1.
But when I started,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
so but I think of it like when I like now people say like, oh, Sean is an illustrator. I've never called myself that. Like I've never called myself a poet, even though I've written poems. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what I'm just doing. Right. I'm just doing what feels right to do. So like you make music, you do podcasts, you do all these creative things. Right. But like you're not necessarily, and you may someday be known as a podcast, like an epic podcaster,
or an actor,
you act,
or a bodybuilder, or whatever. You know, who knows? Like, there's so many different things.
And so, like, just because the world sees the celebrities as the one thing that they like got kind of big for, that doesn't mean like they could be 100 other things that they enjoy and that they relate to, but they don't necessarily, you know, a lot of, like even going through college. I think people sometimes get caught up on like brand, you know, you're branding yourself. So you got to pick like, are you like with my film degree, it was like, are you a horror writer or are you a comedy writer or are you a drama writer? And it's like, I'm a writer, like I'm a human and I'm a creative and I'm a like.
Do you want me to write a horror film?
Yeah, like I'll do comedy. I'll do what you want me to do. No, I'll do what I want. Yeah, it's like
I'll do what I want. Okay.
I don't want you following somebody else's script. Like, and maybe that's cliche, but it's like you can do a little bit of horror, you can do a little bit of comedy, you can do a little bit of this and that. I can do a little bit of sketching. I can do a little bit of, you know, whatever it may be, and.
So, but you're not afraid to step out and say I want to do it my way.
I have to do it. Yeah, that's like the only way I know.
But you're not afraid to say I'm going to write what I write.
And it's I don't have too many. You know, there's like there's a few people that inspire me that you know are poets and authors, and there's a lot obviously. Yeah, comedians, artists, illustrators. All of that, but I don't feel like I'm following, you know, I'll take inspiration from all of them, but just like with music, like you're never going to be just complete, unless you're a cover band, you are creating your own, you know, you're taking influences and making it your own. And you don't have to be just a guitarist or a drummer. You can do both.
Well, what? Yeah, I heard that you also freestyle.
Freestyle.
Is that true?
Only for fun.
Do you really freestyle?
Not like, you know.
Just for fun though.
Yeah.
But you do it, right?
I have done it.
You mean a beatbox?
Yo, I'm in the hot seat. I gotta pee. I gotta be what I gotta be. I gotta see what I gotta see. Gotta tell all the peoples what I gotta be. I don't know. I'm an oddity. So I took her on an odyssey. Then we departed sea. She didn't believe in God or monogamy. That was my ex-girl. Now we looking for the next girl.
I'm looking for the next girl.
Looking for the next girl. Looking for the next girl.
Best Authentic Self podcast. Let's go. I've got Sean Finegan with me here. This is awesome. All right. Well done. All right, guys. Thanks so much for taking some time out to listen to this podcast. I'm so happy that we've got such good people on this show who are really searching for truth and trying to find deeper meaning and ultimately becoming their best. If anything, my goal and my hope for you guys is, and for all of us, who are part of this kind of little community, is that we're really helping people become that best version of themselves, and doing that also by looking to become the best version of ourselves. God has a purpose and a plan for each one of us, and by searching for that truth and trying to find meaning and taking action and looking to become your best, a lot of great things can happen, and it might look a lot different than what you expect. And in Sean's case, he studied film and philosophy, and now he's sketching. So anything can happen if you are willing to just be yourself